Gas blast in Turkey leaves 5 dead, several others injured. North Korea launches 2 more missiles towards the sea. Good afternoon and Salam Malaysia Madani. Thanks for tuning in. You're watching World Today with me, Mohana Priya. At least 5 people were killed and 63 injured in a gas explosion at a restaurant in Turkey on Sunday. Footage shared on social media X, formerly Twitter, showed the moment a huge explosion near a Sunday market sent debris flying through the neighborhood in Turbali, Izmir, on the Aegean coast. Interior Minister Ali Yerlikaya said the blast is believed to have been caused by an industrial gas cylinder exploding at a restaurant. Victims were taken to several hospitals nearby, with at least 1 person still in serious condition. Yerlikaya confirmed an investigation has been ordered as multiple ambulances and rescue teams were sent to the scene. He said locals have also been evacuated and placed in social housing over fears of possible structural damage to buildings still standing. The blast, which happened in the town of Turbali, south of the city of Izmir, was so powerful that it was heard for miles around. 3 were reported to have died at the scene, while 2 died later at a nearby hospital. Yerlikaya also confirmed that a member of the staff from the restaurant was among the casualties, adding that 9 buildings had been damaged in the blast. Russian forces attacked the center of Kharkiv, Ukraine's second-largest city, with a guided bomb, killing 1 person, injuring 8, and setting ablaze buildings and vehicles. Kharkiv Mayor Ihor Terekov, writing on the Telegram messaging app, said the bomb hit near the city center, triggering a fire. Terekov put the death toll at 1, with an 8-month-old infant among the injured. Regional Governor Oleg Sinyobov said a post office was ablaze, adding that emergency services were examining the area. Kharkiv, located about 30 kilometers from the Russian border, has been a frequent target of Russian attacks in the war, but remained out of Russian hands in the early stages of Moscow's February 2022 invasion. Russian forces have increasingly relied on guided bombs in their assaults. Russian forces launched a cross-border incursion into the Kharkiv region last month and seized a number of villages, but Ukrainian officials say the situation near the border has been stabilized. North Korea fired 1 short-range ballistic missile and another ballistic missile today, according to reports by South Korea's military. South Korea's Joint Chief of Staff said the first short-range ballistic missile was fired to the northeast around 5:05 a.m. from near Changyeon, South Hwanghae Province in North Korea. Another unknown ballistic missile was detected around 5:15 a.m. from the same area. The first missile flew about 600 kilometers, while the second flew about 120 kilometers. South Korea added that they were analyzing the launch along with the United States. On Sunday, North Korea criticized a joint military exercise by South Korea, Japan, and the United States held last month and warned of overwhelming response against such drills. Relations between the two Koreas are at one of their lowest points in years, with the North ramping up weapons testing while bombarding the South with balloons full of trash. In response to the North's repeated launches, South Korea has fully suspended a tension-reducing military treaty. It also resumed propaganda loudspeaker broadcasts and live fire drills near the border. Now, earlier, North Korea criticized a joint military exercise by South Korea, Japan, and the United States, which was held this month. Earlier this month, North Korean state media said on Sunday that such drills show the relationship among 3 countries has developed into the Asian version of NATO. On Thursday, the three countries began large-scale joint military drills called Freedom Edge, involving Navy destroyers, fighter jets, and the nuclear-powered U.S. aircraft carrier Theodore Roosevelt, aimed at boosting defenses against missiles, submarines, and air attacks. The exercise was devised at the three-way summit at Camp David last year to strengthen military cooperation amid tensions on the Korean peninsula stemming from North Korea's weapons testing. North Korea's foreign ministry said in a statement that Pyongyang will not ignore the strengthening of a military bloc led by the US and its allies and will protect regional peace with an aggressive and overwhelming response, according to KCNA news agency. Seoul's defense ministry said in a statement that the Freedom Edge exercise was in response to North Korea's nuclear and missile program, while dismissing Pyongyang's criticism. Residents in the Eastern Caribbean prepared for the arrival of the extremely dangerous Category 4 storm Hurricane Beryl as it barreled across the Atlantic Ocean on Sunday toward the Caribbean's Windward Islands. The National Hurricane Center, NHC, said it is expected to bring life-threatening winds and flash flooding today. The first hurricane of the 2024 season was located about 400 kilometers southeast of Barbados on Sunday, with maximum sustained winds of 215 kilometers per hour. The center of the hurricane is expected to travel across the Windward Islands today as a Category 4 storm, the second strongest level on a 5-step scale. It is rare for a major hurricane to appear this early in the Atlantic hurricane season, which runs from 1st June to 30th November. On Sunday, Beryl became the earliest Category 4 hurricane on record, beating Hurricane Dennis, which became a Category 4 on the 8th of July 2005. This is according to NHC data. Hurricane warnings have been issued in Barbados, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadine Islands, Grenada, and Tobago. At least 18 people were killed and 19 seriously wounded in suicide attacks targeting a wedding, a hospital, and a funeral in northeastern Nigeria. Now, the region has been scarred by more than a decade of violence by militant group Boko Haram, which did not immediately claim responsibility for the string of attacks. In one of the three blasts in the town of Gwoza, a woman with a baby strapped to her back detonated explosives in the middle of a wedding ceremony. Authorities said women suicide bombers also targeted a hospital in the same town, which lies across the border from Cameroon. Another attack was later carried out at the funeral for victims of the wedding blast. According to the Borno State Emergency Management Agency, at least 18 people were killed and 42 others injured in the spate of attacks. Agency head Barkindo Saidu said 19 seriously injured people were taken to the regional capital Maiduguri, while 23 others were waiting evacuation. A member of a militia assisting the military in Gwoza said 2 colleagues and a soldier were also killed in a separate attack on a security post, though authorities did not immediately confirm this toll. French far-right leader Marine Le Pen on Sunday night called the results of the legislative election historic as her national rally made considerable gains in the voting. The RN party won the first round of France's parliamentary election on Sunday, but the final result will depend on days of horse trading before next week's runoff. Exit polls from Ipsos, IFOP, Opinionway and Elabi showed that the RN was seen winning around 34% of the vote. That was ahead of leftist and centrist rivals, including President Emmanuel Macron's Together alliance, whose bloc was seen winning 20.5 to 23%. The new Popular Front, NFP, a hastily assembled left-wing coalition, was projected to win around 29% of the vote based on the exit polls. The RN's chances of winning power next week will depend on the political deal-making made by its rivals over the coming days. In the past, centre-right and centre-left parties have teamed up to keep the RN from power, but that dynamic, known as the Republican Front, is less certain than ever. Coming up next, Mount Fuji Peak reopens for climbing season today. But first, confidence among big Japanese manufacturers improved in the 3 months to June to reach levels unseen in the last 2 years. According to closely watched surveys, central bank backing up on its view the economy is on track for a moderate recovery. However, the mood among big service sector firms worsened for the first time in 4 years. The Tankan survey showed on Monday, suggesting that rising living costs from the weak yen were weighing on consumption. The outcome, which comes ahead of the Bank of Japan's next policy meeting on the 30th to 31st July, complicates its decision on how soon to raise interest rates. Many market players expect the BOJ to raise interest rates again from current near zero levels this year, but remain divided on how soon it will come. BOJ Governor Kazuo Ueda has said the central bank will raise rates further if there is enough evidence that underlying inflation will durably meet its 2% target as it projects. BOJ ended 8 years of negative interest rates and other remnants of its radical monetary stimulus in March, as it judged that sustained achievement of its 2% inflation target has come into sight. Japan's tallest peak opened for the 2024 climbing season today with one crucial change. Now it's for ticket holders only. Starting this year, the Yoshida Trail on Mount Fuji will operate with a daily limit of 4,000 visitors. Access is controlled by a newly installed gate at the trailhead. Visitors may only pass if they have reserved their place and paid a 2,000 yen or around $12 fee. Once the 4,000 cap is breached, the gate will close. For their money, climbers will receive a wristband granting access to the trail between the hours of 3 a.m. and 4 p.m. Authorities say those with reservations for mountain huts closer to Fuji's peak will be able to pass outside those hours and will not be subject to the daily visitor limit. The 3,776-meter Mount Fuji, which straddles Yamanashi and Shizuoka prefectures in eastern Japan, has always been popular with local and overseas tourists. But local authorities say a recent surge in inbound tourists to Japan has led to high levels of environmental harm and incidents of underprepared climbers needing rescue, prompting them to limit access. Austria's far-right Freedom Party, FPO, Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban's Fidesz, and the populist Czech ANO party, led by Andrej Babis, are forming a new alliance in the European Parliament. Now, the move would reorder, but possibly also split nationalist forces in the Assembly, provided 4 more parties join. Parties from at least a quarter of the European Union's 27 member states are needed to officially form a new political group. While Fidesz has remained outside larger groupings since it parted ways with the mainstream centre-right European People's Party, or EPP, in 2021, the FPO is part of the Identity and Democracy political group, along with Marine Le Pen's National Rally Party in France. ANO is not part of a political group. Former Czech Prime Minister Babis said the new group would be called Patriots for Europe. In this month's European Parliament election, nationalist parties capitalized on voter disquiet over spiraling prices, migration, and the cost of the green transition, and are looking to translate their seat gains into more influence on EU policy. Greek firefighters were battling two wildfires near Athens on Sunday amid strong winds just hours after managing to contain blazes in a mountainous area also near the capital, as well as on an island in the Aegean Sea. Dozens of firefighters in full gear, backed by 23 water-carrying aircraft, fought with hoses to tame a fire in a sparsely populated area near the town of Kerana, some 35 kilometers south of Athens. Authorities had ordered evacuations before flames from burning pine and olive trees engulfed houses. Another fire in the community of Stamata, north of Athens, burned a lush pine forest, sending columns of smoke over parts of the city. It did not threaten houses so far. With hot, windy conditions across much of Greece, dozens of wildfires broke out over the weekend, and people were advised to stay away from forested areas. Firefighters were still engaged on the island of Serifos, where a fire had broken out amid low vegetation on Saturday and spread quickly, fanned by strong winds, damaging houses and prompting the evacuation of several hamlets. The wildfire, which at one point had raged across 15 kilometers, damaged holiday homes and storehouses. Another fire in the mountainous forest of Parnitha, near a nature reserve just outside Athens, had eased by Sunday morning. Top Orthodox Christian clergy from across Europe and Bulgaria's senior government officials gathered in Sofia's main cathedral on Sunday for the enthronement of the new patriarch of the country's influential church. Patriarch Beryl, 52, was elected among three candidates on Sunday morning to succeed neophyte who passed away in March. Representatives from Orthodox churches in Greece, North Macedonia, Serbia, Russia and Georgia, as well as Ecumenical Patriarch Bartholomew, attended the enthronement, which started immediately after the bishops voted. The event lasted over 3 hours. About 80% of the 6.8 million strong Bulgarian population are Orthodox Christians. The reputation of the country's Orthodox Church was damaged after a history commission in January 2012 showed that 11 of its 15 bishops had collaborated with the former communist-era secret police. Since his enthronement in 2013, Patriarch Neophyte had worked to restore the reputation of the Bulgarian Orthodox Church, hurt by allegations of corrupt practices and links to communist secret police. Still to come in sports, England narrowly makes it through to Euro quarterfinals. Jude Bellingham rescued poor England from crashing.
The Riders menentang Sang Penyu dalam menakluki takhta buruan Piala FA 2024. Perlawanan seterusnya Sabtu 6 Julai, Sabah FC bertemu Terengganu FC 6.45 minit petang di saluran OK dan saluran Sukan RTM. Saksikan juga secara penstreaman langsung di RTM Click.
Jude Bellingham rescued poor England from crashing out of Euro 2024 against Slovakia this morning with a stunning 95th minute equaliser before Harry Kane's early extra time winner sent the below par Prix tournament favourites into the quarterfinals. Now England will next play against Switzerland in Düsseldorf on Saturday. Slovakia started far sharper than England and gave the opponents several warnings before Ivan Šranc placed a deft finish past goalkeeper Jordan Pickford in the 25th minute. England thought they were level shortly after the break, but Phil Foden was clearly offside before tapping home. Kane uncharacteristically headed a Foden free kick wide and Declan Rice hit the post as Slovakia were pinned deep in their own half late on, though England seemed to lack belief as their friends grew even more frustrated. But Bellingham, a day after his 21st birthday, equalised with an incredible effort to take the game to extra time with England's first shot on target. England took less than a minute off extra time to take the lead when Kane headed past the despairing Martin Dubravka from close range to complete a remarkable turnaround and keep the Euro 2020 runners-up in the tournament. Meanwhile, Spain survived an early scare to beat a spirited Georgia 4-1 and reach the last 8 of Euro 2024, coming out on top in an exhilarating encounter that brought an end to the Minnows' fairy tale run. Coach Luis de la Fuente brought his first choices back into the starting lineup, having made 10 changes in the final group game, while Georgia kept faith with a side that included the tournament's joint top scorer and its leading shot stopper. Playing in their maiden Euros, Georgia were riding a wave of euphoria and seeking an unlikely Iberian double after last week's staggering 2-0 win over Portugal sent them into the knockout rounds. Spain were dominant from the outset, but Georgia stunned Spain when they went ahead as Georgia's Mikautadze found Kakabadze on the right and he whipped in an early cross that struck Robin Lenormand and bounced into the net. Spain kept their cool and equalized after 39 minutes when Williams picked out Rodri, who fired a low shot into the corner. They made it 2-1 6 minutes after the break when the magnificent Lamine Yamal's curling cross was headed home by Fabian Ruiz. Nico Williams killed off any hope of a Georgia comeback with a superbly taken strike in the 75th before substitute Dani Olmo completed the rout with 7 minutes left. La Roja will next meet hosts Germany in the quarterfinals. France captain Kylian Mbappe will not be surprised if his broken nose is targeted in a tough physical battle against neighbours Belgium in the last 16 at the European Championship in Düsseldorf tomorrow, but is prepared to push through the pain. Mbappe broke his nose at the start of the tournament but returned for France's final Group D game and scored in the 1-1 draw against Poland wearing a mask he described as annoying. Speaking to the media for the first time since the injury, Mbappe said he initially feared he might miss the rest of the tournament. Mbappe, however, said he was battling to adapt to wearing a mask, having been spotted at various training sessions and in the last game with at least 5 different versions.
Ouais, c'est une possibilité. Je pense qu'à partir du moment où tu joues avec le nez cassé et que tu te fais pas opérer, tu deviens une cible, même si je pense qu'il n'a pas fait exprès. Lewandowski, il n'a pas fait exprès quand il m'a touché et la réaction c'était plus une réaction instinctive de la douleur. Malheureusement, il y a beaucoup d'enfants qui regardent les matchs, donc il faudra essayer de se contrôler à l'avenir. Mais franchement, je savais dans quoi je m'embarquais quand j'ai décidé de rester et de jouer et de ne pas me faire opérer.
Juventus have signed Brazilian midfielder Douglas Luiz from Premier League club Aston Villa on a 5-year deal, as confirmed by the Serie A side on Sunday. Now, the clubs did not provide the financial details of the deal, but British media reported that Juventus had signed the 26-year-old Brazil international for around 50 million euros. Having started his career with Brazil's Vasco da Gama, Luiz moved to Manchester City in 2017, but did not play and was loaned to La Liga club Girona for 2 seasons. A Tokyo 2020 Olympic gold medalist with Brazil, Douglas Luiz signed for Villa in 2019 and helped them qualify for the Europa Conference League and Champions League in successive campaigns. Villa's pressing need to comply with profit and sustainability rules meant that they had to cash in on one of their key players. PSR rules permit losses of up to £105 million over 3 years for Premier League clubs. Villa have already sold midfielder Tim Iroguna, 21, to Everton, while Chelsea have completed a move for their 18-year-old attacking midfielder Omari Kellyman. Former champion Tadej Pogacar took the overall lead of the Tour de France on Sunday on a sweltering run to Bologna, won by French rider Kevin Vaillancourt. Pogacar, who won the 2020 and 2021 tours, attacked from the closing peloton on a steep hill near the finish line of the second stage as he, Jonas Vingegaard and Remco Evenepoel all gained time on the day. Overnight leader Romain Bardet, winner of Saturday's opening stage, had predicted that he would be unable to defend the yellow jersey, and so it proved, as he was dropped in the final ascent. A 10-man attack had led as the race arrived in Bologna through apricot and peach orchards from the coastal resort of Cesanatico. Vaquin, making his tour debut, broke away from the remnants of the escape on the final hill and won solo at a packed finish line in the city centre with temperatures hitting 33 degrees Celsius. Behind them, Pogacar produced a blistering acceleration on the very steepest part of the final climb, but it was immediately shadowed by defending champion Vingegaard of Denmark. This pair were then joined downhill by former Vuelta winner Evenepoel and former Giro winner Richard Carapaz. While Carapaz led that group across the line, official results gave Pogacar the yellow jersey with the others on the same time. Twice MotoGP champion Francesco Bagnaia of Ducati completed the perfect weekend at the Dutch Motorcycle Grand Prix when the pole sitter and sprint winner stormed to victory in Sunday's race, reducing the gap to championship leader Jorge Martin by 10 points. Having dominated the practice and qualifying sessions at TT Assen, reigning MotoGP champion Bagnaia was comfortable from the get-go, leading from the first lap to the checkered flag despite Martin's best efforts to make up for lost places after being handed a 3-place grid penalty. The Prima Pramac racing rider, who was demoted for impeding Raul Fernandez in the second round qualifying, finished second after starting fifth. Enea Bastiani came third to complete an all-Ducati podium. Bagnaia, 27, is now the first rider to win 3 consecutive Premier Class races at Assen since Australian Mick Doohan. On Saturday, he also smashed the lap record in the qualifying session to clinch his first pole position of the season. 6 times MotoGP champion Marc Marquez, third in the championship, finished fourth. Aprilia Racing's Maverick Vinales came 6th despite showing promise pace in Q2, where he was the 3rd quickest. Fabio Di Gianantonio, Brad Binder, Alex Marquez, Fernandez and Franco Morbidelli were the other riders who made up the top 10 in the race. Final item on motorsports, a double world champion Cal Rovanpera won the Rally of Poland for Toyota on Sunday in a remarkable turnaround after being called up as a late stand-in for Sebastian Ogier with little time to prepare. Now, the Finn, who got the call on Tuesday night after Ogier was involved in a head-on car accident during the rally reconnaissance, finished 28.3 seconds clear of Welsh teammate Alfyn Evans.
Yeah, it's quite amazing week. Not so normal, so definitely I will have to say we have been working quite hard. Really feeling tired now, so I think the best thing is that we really came here and it was not a bad idea to come. For sure, we helped the team a lot and we took some really good points for the team championship. So yeah, we didn't waste our time.
M Sport Ford's Adrian Fourmont finished third. World Championship leader Thierry Neuville was fourth for Hyundai. Neuville has 136 points to Evans' 121 and Hyundai's Ott Tanak on 115. Hyundai lead the manufacturer's standings with 311 points to Toyota's 301.
Pemilikan khazanah dan KWSP meningkat dari 41% kepada 70%. Ini berbeza dengan naratif di luar. Naratif di luar seolah penjualan. Tidak ada penjualan MAHB kepada syarikat asing. Selama ini syarikat asing memiliki sekitar 27% dan inilah yang diambil alih oleh ADIA, Abu Dhabi Investment Authority dan GIP. Itu saya nak jelaskan fakta. Apakah kita ada penjualan yang melibatkan lapangan terbang? Tidak. Exercise ini hanya melibatkan pengurusan. MAHB itu syarikat yang menguruskan lapangan terbang. Lapangan terbang kekal milik kerajaan Malaysia.
And that's it for World Today this time round. In our top story today, gas blast in Turkey leaves 5 dead and several others injured. I'm Mohana Priya. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Thank you for watching.